Hey everyone! Well, we're here, we're back, and today we're doing another anti-MLM video, and for this video we will be talking about Zyia. Zyia Active, or Zyia as it is more commonly referred to, is an athleisure brand that started in 2017, and they sell workout clothing for both men and women. They sell sports bras, leggings, shorts, tank tops, anything you need for that outdoor activity. Zyia currently has two starter kits, a women's starter kit and a men's starter kit, and both of those are at a price point of $300. Taking a look at what is in the starter kit, it looks like there is $50 business tools. You get catalogs, brochures, order forms, and stickers, a $100 gift card, and then you get the red all-star bra, the black unwind joggers, a white chill tank, black pocket, light in tight, high-rise, 7/8, 24-inch leggings, I'm assuming, and a Zyia X mesh hat. So you get 5 pieces of clothing included in the $300. So I wanted to see how much just one of those pieces by itself that is in the starter kit costs. And it looks like I just typed in the black unwind joggers, and those are at a price point of $76. So Zyia, just like many other MLMs out there, is on the pricier side, in my opinion. So I also wanted to just look at a couple other things that they have. So it looks like they have a sports bra here for $50. Oh, here's the block, oh, the light and tight high-rise leggings. So they are leggings, and they are $65. We have another pair of leggings for $65. We have a tank top for $25. I guess not the worst, but again, it's a tank top, and it's a mesh tank top, so that's even less clothing or material. And we have shorts, $55 shorts. Those are pretty pricey. We have a men's long tee for $49. Another pair of leggings for $65. So it looks like $25 is their lowest for tank tops. So they're definitely up there in the pricier side of things. And I've said this before, you can find really nice quality leggings for so much cheaper than these pieces. And the idea that these people who are in the MLM are probably buying multiple pieces a week, especially since Zyia does drop new pieces weekly. So there's constantly new items coming in on the website, and as we know in many MLMs, reps have to purchase them, and yes, they do get some sort of a discount. They get a personal discount of, I believe it is 25% off of each item, but even with that 25%, that is still quite a bit of money to be spending on clothing each and every week. Zyia does not have an income disclosure statement to look at. They do not publicly put that information out there, and whenever that happens, it makes me wonder, what are you hiding? Why not put that information out there? If you want people to see how amazing an opportunity it is, you should show what people are making each and every month or each and every year, whatever the case may be. But at the moment, Zyia does not have an income disclosure statement. They do have a compensation plan. So looking at this, it just shows that to be a representative, you have to sell $200. I believe this is monthly, so you have to sell and or buy $200 worth of clothing each month to stay active. And then if you want to rank up in the company to junior representative, you have to sell and or buy $1,500 worth of clothing, and your first level volume, which we all know what that means, a downline needs to sell and or buy $600 or points. I believe it's more points worth of clothing, but for every dollar, essentially, it equals a point. It's the easiest way to look at it. So in order to rank up at the company at all, you have to have people below you. And for me, and for many of you out there, we all know that that's a red flag. We will be watching a Zyia team call just to see what Zyia is all about, what happens in their team calls, is it different than other MLMs out there, but more importantly, is it exactly like every other MLM out there? And more than likely the answer is always yes. No matter how unique they want to make themselves out to be, they are just like every other MLM, and especially with Zyia, they are a lot like Savvy. I don't think they'll like me saying that. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really, really like it, please subscribe. Make sure to check out my description for all of my fun links. Links to my Poshmark, my Patreon, my social medias, and my channel memberships are always linked below. And with all of that said, let's get started.
Here, and you can take it away.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, you guys. Hope everyone is doing okay. Exciting news about Alberta. That's amazing. I've been wanting to come up to Canada and visit, so that's exciting. Okay, so before we dive into this tonight, I just wanted to preface the call with a couple of things. First, nothing that I say is directed at any particular person. These are trends that I've seen in myself and my business, and things that I've heard from reps like team-wide and, you know, company-wide. And the second thing is that I love you guys. I spend so much of my time thinking about the reps on this team and praying for your happiness and your well-being. So I want you to know that this is all coming from a place of love.
That's never a good start. To me, this is going to come off like I am going to talk down to you. I am going to get on you about the things that you are holding you back, but are realistic things of why people should not join the business and why they should leave. Because not making money is definitely a major thing that should get people out, but they want everybody to stay for as long as possible and to get people underneath them so that it kind of also holds people to the MLM when they have people below them, because then their upline will say, well, now you're in charge of those people, and they'll feel bad if they leave, like they're letting down those people. But it's like, no, if you have any sort of second thought, or if you're not quite sure, or if you do just want to leave, leave. You will feel so much better. And hopefully you can bring the people below you, if they're friends and family, bring them out with you. Run far.
That being said, let's jump in. And I want you to kind of think about this past year. And if you're newer than that, if you joined a couple of months ago, just think back to the time since you started. Would you say that there's anything that's gotten in the way of your success? Like, I don't know, maybe you're a mom and you have a lot of kids that depend on you. Maybe you've had kids out of school that you've been homeschooling. Maybe you have another job or another 2 jobs, a family business that you also do on the side. Maybe you have had a death in the family or multiple deaths in the family with COVID this past year. Maybe you or someone close to you has been super depressed because we've all been, you know, stuck with the way things have been in the world recently. So what I want to say is that we all go through really hard things. And I don't want you to feel like I'm making any less of the things that we're going through in our lives or comparing, right? Everyone has different things that they're going through that are really, really hard. And I wouldn't say that anyone is going through something that feels harder to them than something anyone else is going through.
Exactly. But then why even bring up the other things and start, you know, kind of lower and then progressively get worse? Is it to point out, like, people are going through harder things than you? I'm not going to say that it matters, but people are going through worse, or maybe someone's worse is not somebody else's worse, which I say all the time, like, you don't know what people can take, and maybe putting Zyia up here when they're going through a lot is just something they don't want to do. Because again, they promote this in opportunity calls as your own business. If you need to run it whenever you want in the pockets of your time, or, you know, it's your business, the time freedom. But when things are going on, personal things are going on, you have to just get over it and run the business. And that's such a horrible way to look at it, especially because, like, if you are in a traditional job, most of the time you can take paid time off to deal with the things that you need to deal with. But in Zyia, you have people who are in your upline telling you, hey, are you going through something? I assume she's just going to say, we're all going through things, but we need to put the business first, which is not what they advertise in the beginning, but it's always what happens when you're in.
True, or that someone who is a mom with 5 kids is any less busy than someone who works a full-time corporate job. But if you are going to find success with your Zyia business, you cannot let things in your life be an excuse.
I knew it. I knew that she was going to say that going through personal family members, having to, deal with life is an excuse. If you are a busy mom, that's not an excuse. It's a reason. If you are going through personal mental health struggles, it's not an excuse. It's a reason. The whole point of people maybe joining this business who do have mental health problems is because of what I said before, of them saying, you can do this whenever you want. It's so easy. You just share and boom, sales will happen, because that's always how they make it out to seem, but it's not. You have to put so much of your time and energy into this stuff. And that can be very overwhelming for people who have mental health struggles. And she even brought up a death in the family. How is that an excuse? How could you ever even throw that into the mix of the other things that you said, and then the next thing that comes out is excuse? It's this, they really try and disassociate everything that happens in their life and others' lives and try and make the business number one. And it really is, when you join an MLM, the MLM is number one, family is second. They like to pretend the friends, family, freedom, all of that is number one. No, it is 100,000,000% the business.
Whatever it is. And if you want to find excuses, guys, they're always going to be there. You are never going to be less busy than you are right now. Like, how many times have you stopped and said, well, when this is over, like when I get past this event, when I get back from this vacation, when after my family visits, after, the kids get out of school, or when they go back to school, or after Christmas, like this happens cyclically, that we are just constantly saying after this thing, or going through something really hard. Like maybe it's something with your spouse, your significant other, that is just very difficult to go through, right? If you're going to be successful with Zyia, you can't let yourself give in to those excuses or any other excuse. Sometimes it's those trials in our personal life. Sometimes it's those things that can easily take away from.
What about family first? What about taking care of yourself first? Is that an option? No, it's always business first, because it benefits the ones at the top for the ones at the bottom to just turn everything off and just, look straight ahead at the business and just, knock on DM doors, post constantly, and sell, and recruit. That's all they care about. They don't care about what's going on in your personal life. They literally don't care. It's just an excuse. The word excuse in MLMs is so common, and they just really clearly don't understand what an excuse is. I mean, I guess to them, it's an excuse. If your downline is not selling, then you are not hitting rank or ranking up, so that does affect you. So their personal experiences is a bother to the upline. That's really what it is.
Our business. And sometimes it's easy to blame it on Zyia. Sometimes it's really easy to say, well, there is no inventory right now in Canada, and so I can't sell anything, so I'm done.
That makes a lot of sense. If you don't have product to sell, how are you going to sell it? How is that an excuse? If you don't have product to sell, how are you to sell? Recruiting.
Or my hostesses are mad at me because I couldn't get them this thing for the party that they wanted, so I'm done. Or it's Zyia's fault that I didn't do well last month, or the incentive wasn't good enough for our team or from corporate last month, so I didn't work because it wasn't a good enough incentive. You can't do that.
Sure you can. Of course they don't want anyone to blame the MLM. The MLM is never at fault. The MLM is the savior. So if you start putting negative thoughts towards the MLM, you're more likely to leave. So no, put those negative thoughts on yourself, shut up, and keep going.
If you do that, you'll never be successful. It will always be someone else's fault. It will always be something else that is causing you not to succeed. And that's just not true. Like, at a baseline, you choose your level of success. Nothing else does. No outside factors, period. You choose your level of success.
How is that possible when, in order to rank advance, you need the people below you to hit specific numbers? How is it on you to decide how much money you want when people below you have to hit their numbers? And if they don't, no matter how hard you may have done on your end, if your downline is not hitting the numbers, you're not rank advancing. You are dependent on the downline. It's not you, but of course they always want to blame the individual, put all the blame on the individual, always, or the downline. So people, always people, never MLM.
Okay, so now that that is said, how do you find success with Zyia? If once you put that to the side and recognize that you are in control of the success in your business.
I think I just debunked that, and any anti-MLMer can always debunk it. It's like, how are you in control of your success when you need people below you to hit numbers in order for you to rank up and or stay the rank that you are? If I say it a lot, if tomorrow 7 people on somebody's team decide to leave, that person will derank. How are they in control of that? They're not.
What do you do? So I have put together a list for steps to success. And I would recommend either going through this tonight or tomorrow morning and kind of doing it on a mini scale for the rest of the month. Kind of give it like a little trial run, go through each of the steps just to practice. And then once you have all of these steps down, at the beginning of every month, either, the last day, it's hard to do it on the last day of the month because you're doing all the end of the month stuff. So the first of the month, go through and do this all again. Okay. So
that sounds like a little bit of manipulation to me, but we'll see what her strategies are.
Here are the 7, and then we're going to go through each one in depth. Steps to success. First, revisit your why.
How many MLMs? How many have we reviewed on this channel? Have we talked about? And I think I could probably say this pretty confidently, every single one of them talks about your why. Have your why. Make it the biggest why ever. Is it for your family? Is it to pay off debt? Is it to get a car? Is it to buy a home? They want you to have a why, and they want you to have it big so that you hold on to that, and if they can use that against you. It's like, well, remember your why. Why are you doing this? If you give up now, then you're giving up on your why. And most of the time for people, it's family, kids. So then they're essentially saying, if you give up on your why and you give up on the MLM, you're giving up on your family. And it's a manipulative way to get people to stay.
Second, rediscover your passion. So remember why you love Zyia and you love the business. 3, create Zyia goals that align with your why. 4, make an action plan to achieve your goals. 5, schedule your actionable items for each week of the month. 6, follow through. And then 7 is reflect, revise, and restart. So let's go through those individually. Number 1, revisit your why. You hear this from us a lot because it's very important. If you are not, if you don't have that why constantly in your mind, it's so easy to give up. It's so easy to make excuses. It's so easy to just say, well, I didn't do it. Maybe I'll do it later. But if you know your why, if you feel it deep in your soul every single day, if your why drives you, then nothing can stop you. No excuses.
What if, let's just say, somebody does have their why driving them every day? Let's say that they join an MLM and they're doing it for their family because they saw an opportunity call and they thought, wow, this is great. This seems like something I could do. They get in and they do put their all into it with their why at the front of their mind, and they still don't see success. Are you just going to tell that person, well, you were clearly making excuses the whole time? More than likely, you probably will. It is very, very, very difficult for people to see any sort of success in MLMs. And we see that with many income disclosure statements, with many personal stories. It is very hard to be successful because if it was as easy as everybody at the top makes it out to be, there'd be a lot more people at the top.
Will be big enough to keep you from your success. So your why, if you need help kind of developing that again, or maybe going through it, I know Natalie has done a call on finding your why. I've done a call on finding your why. There are plenty of links that you can rewatch and go through. If you feel like maybe you kind of need to retweak it a little bit, if it's been a while to look at it, or if you just want help diving in and digging a little deeper into a why that will drive you, we can help with that. So just reach out. We're happy to help you discover what it is that will push you to continue to run every day, even when it's hard. Because that's what's going to take you through, like, even personal trials if you're going through something that's really difficult. Okay, number 2, rediscover your passion. Remember why you love Zyia and the business. This is something I was in a training call last week, and this hit me really hard because when you first find Zyia, think about how exciting that was. Think about the first time you put on a pair of light tights. That was a big deal, right? It was awesome. You're like, holy crap, I look amazing. It was awesome. You're like, I lost 15 pounds putting on these pants. And when I go run, my thighs rub together, but I don't feel them anymore. Like, that's a really cool feeling, right? And it's really awesome to think.
I mean, I'm sure it's kind of like any pair of leggings. Like, if you got thigh rubbing together, in a pair of leggings, you're going to feel it, but it's not going to, like, hurt. But again, a pair of leggings, at least to me, a pair of leggings is a pair of leggings. If they're comfortable, if they're stretchy, if they're breathable, and they were at a good price, I'm happy. Like these ones that I have on right now, these are my Victoria's Secret pink leggings that I got at a thrift store for, I believe, $5. I also have a pair of Amazon leggings that are high-waisted, and I got those for $15. Love both of them. Wear them all the time. The thing that I find difficult with the clothing MLMs in particular is it really is, you're supposed to find that, unicorn, not trying to pull a LuLaRoe, but, a unicorn in a pair of leggings. If they're a really good pair of leggings and you really like them, they will last such a long time. You don't have to keep buying the same pair of leggings over and over and over and have them in every single color, because to me, if one pair of leggings is good, they will last you a very long time. They will be your go-to leggings. But in an MLM like this, you need to constantly keep buying because you need to show them off. You need to tell people, you need to tell your customers, well, now you need this one, you need this one, you need this one. And that adds up very, very quickly, especially at Zyia price points.
About the business, and the first time it clicked for you that this could change your life, that this is the opportunity that can take you wherever you want to go. Like, so think back to those moments. And if you don't feel that anymore, you need to figure out how to do that. You need to figure out what it is that makes you that excited, that passionate about it, because that passion is what's going to attract the things you want in your business. It's going to attract new customers. It's going to attract people in your life to want to join the business, new hostesses. Like, it's that passion more than anything else that's going to help you through the business and help you be successful. So
you can love anything you want in the world. You could be the most passionate person about it, but it still doesn't make you a good salesperson at it.
Number 2, rediscover that passion, whatever that looks like for you. Number 3, create Zyia goals that align with your why. So once you have reflected on your why, you want to create goals that match that, right? because it doesn't make sense if you, well, okay, let's break it down a little bit. So what are my goals? What am I trying to achieve? So once you have your why, sit down and make those goals based on your why. So for me personally, right now, one of my big goals is to finish paying off all of our debt and retire my husband. So
don't do that. Bad idea. Also, it's not retiring your husband. It's just having him quit his job and do the MLM along with you until the MLM potentially maybe one day gets shut down, or it, a bunch of people leave and you're downline underneath you, because you never know. That's a really scary thing to think, oh my God, I finally, maybe gotten the amount of money that I want, and your husband quits his job. Now you're all in on the MLM, but you don't know, because tomorrow 20 people in your downline could all quit. You don't know, because you're not in control of those people, and you derank 5, 10 ranks. I don't know. It depends. And now what? Your husband's not working anymore, and you're all in on Zyia. You're dependent on Zyia, and that's scary.
Those are my big things that I'm working on right now. So big whys, which requires big goals, right? Those aren't like cheap things. Those are big things. So my goals are going to be different than someone that's like, I just want like $200 a month to buy groceries or pay for gas or go on vacation. Your goals should look different in that respect. So ask yourself, what are my goals? What am I trying to achieve? Next question, how much time am I honestly willing to put into Zyia to achieve those goals? And I want you to be brutally honest with yourself, because if you tell yourself, yeah, I'm willing to put in 15 hours a week, and then you find yourself putting in 2 or 3, that obviously was not an accurate estimate. Either you're not willing to make the time, or it hasn't been a priority for you. So
why? See, it's right away, like you weren't willing to make the time, or the business wasn't a priority. Why is it always blaming the individual? And in team calls, in opportunity calls, it's like this like la la land wonderland. But in team calls is when we see the true blame, and this is the true reality of MLMs. It's just the constant blame game.
Oh, third question, follow-up. Is it possible to achieve the goals that I've set for myself with the amount of time that I plan to commit to Zyia every week? And that will vary based on the time frame. So if you're like, I want to achieve this goal in 2 years versus I want to achieve this goal in 10 years, you probably don't have to put in the same amount of time every week to achieve the same goal if you want it to take longer, like substantially longer. But just take a really hard look at that. If you're like my goals, right? I want to retire my husband and I want to pay off our like tens of thousands of dollars of debt we still have. That's not going to happen if I put in 5 hours a week, or probably even 10 hours a week. That's going to take a lot of my time if I want to do that in the next couple of years, right? So break that down. What are my goals and what am I trying to achieve? And how much time am I honestly willing to put in Zyia to achieve the goals? And then look at that discrepancy, see if those match, because that's very important that you're honest with yourself, because otherwise you're just setting yourself up to fail. And you're going to get nowhere with that. It's going to be very discouraging and you're going to quit, because you're never going to achieve the goal if you're not willing to put in the level of work that's going to require. Okay, so that's number 3. And I kind of wanted to break that down a little bit for you guys also on maybe some realistic goals for you to look at as you're deciding what to do. So we have several different types of reps in the company. One of the first ones we always talk about is a discount rep. So if you're on this call, you might not be a discount rep, but if you are, what that means is that you've joined to get a discount on the close, and that's all you're really interested in, which is fine, right? Everyone has their own things that they're doing. If you're a discount rep, what I want you to do is look at how much you're spending every month on the close. If you're spending $750 or more shopping with your rep discount, I recommend taking a look at setting up shopping links and buying at retail price instead, because then not only do you earn cash back via commission, but you'll also earn free and 50% off items through your hostess rewards. Now, the other thing is, if you have any customers that are regularly spending $750 a month with you, you need to talk to them about joining and break down numbers for them, because it does not make sense that someone is spending almost $1,000 with you a month as a customer.
I mean, it does. In a normal business standpoint, like if you owned your own business and you had a loyal customer, if you had a loyal customer who was buying your products every single month and you told them, why are you doing that? You should just be doing what I'm doing. That would sound silly. Like, let's say we'll take my Poshmark store. Like, if I had a customer who was buying 3 shirts or 3 outfits or 3 pieces a month, I wouldn't go to them and say, stop buying from me, just sell yourself. You would make money instead of giving me money and supporting me. It just sounds silly at that aspect, but for someone who is being a loyal customer, it does make more sense to have them as a recruit, as a downline underneath you, because that helps you rank up, and then you can try and convince them to get people underneath them. So in an MLM, and this is the only business model that I believe is the one that turns customers into competition, and it's a good thing, only in MLMs does that make sense, because in any other business standpoint, any other anything, it makes absolutely no sense.
Right. So take a look at that. If you are a discount rep or if you have customers that shop that way, and definitely talk to them. Okay, the next thing is, if you're wanting to make some extra income right now, but have no plans for future income with Zyia, so you just want to focus on selling as much as possible every month. That's your goal, right? Because all you care about is, for the next year or two, I want to rep and I want to make money while I'm repping. And then I don't really care. 5 to 10 years, what happens? This is what I need right now. Minimum, I would say try to sell at least $1,000 every month so that you earn the 8% commission on your commission check. That bonus that they give you once you hit $1,000 US. Because if your goal is to earn as much commission as possible right now, that's just the best bang for your buck getting to that $1,000. If you are wanting to see long-term growth and residual income with Zyia, but you know that you cannot or will not commit a ton of time to your business every month, then focus on hitting the 1 by 1,000. That's 1 new rep every month and at least $1,000 in sales every month. That $1,000 in sales is going to earn you commission right now and help you build lifetime volume to rank advance slowly. And adding that 1 rep to your front line will help you secure that residual income. And it's going to take less time than recruiting more reps every month, obviously, right? So if you just have like some time, but you want that long-term income, look at that goal pretty seriously. That's a good goal to start with and tweak from there. And then if you're wanting that faster growth for the residual income with Zyia, and you're willing to commit a large chunk of time and energy every month into achieving your goals, then you're going to focus on that 3 by 4 by 2,500. So the 3 new reps a month, the 4 closed parties, and the $2,500 in sales. Because
why can't it just be selling the clothes and getting a commission off of that? And then she did say that if you hit 1,000, then you get an extra 8% commission, which is nice. I'll give them that. But it does seem to be something that she just kind of said, like, hey, if you don't really care about the business side of it, if it's not a long-term thing for you, then you could just do this. It's the just selling the clothes and getting commission off the clothes, which is all it should be, is so minuscule to them. It's so secondary. And then she's saying, like, the one you really want to go for is 3 reps a month and 4 parties and $2,500 in sales. And it's like, why do you need people underneath you? It's to rank advance. It's to earn the most amount of money. The more people you have underneath you, the more money you make, the more, and she said it, residual income. So you can kind of sit back, not really do much, while your downlines do all the work.
As you grow, you'll see that your business kind of atrophies. You go through ups and downs. People are going to quit. People are going to start and then never do anything. It's just a natural progression for your business. So adding those 3 reps every month is going to help combat that atrophy. As people leave, you still have more people coming on. And it also will,
and 3 is such a small number in terms of just it being a number, but trying to find 3 people who want to do this along with you, or even willing to give it a shot, and tell them like, hey, just spend $300. So you need 3 people each month to spend $300. You need to find 3 people to spend $900. That's a lot. That's really, really difficult. 3 in the grand scheme of things, small number, but asking 3 people to spend $300, that is very difficult. You need more than 30 days in a month to try and do that, because it's, I assume, very, very hard for them to find people to want to do this. The items are pretty pricey. If people aren't really into fitness and they don't really care, that kind of, leaves out a huge portion of the market that you can't even sell to. So it all depends. And again, $300 for a starter kit is asking quite a bit of people.
Help you just grow wide, because as Natalie always says, it's better to have a lot of people doing a little than try to have a few people doing a lot. It's just less pressure on everybody as you all work wherever you want to within your businesses. So that's a good starting place to kind of look at goals depending on where your why is and what it is that you're wanting to get out of your Zyia business. Okay, so number 4 is to create an action plan to achieve your goals. So once you know what your goals are long-term, then you're breaking it down to that, okay, I'm going to do the 1 by 1,000, or I'm going to do the 3 by 4, or I'm just trying to reach $1,000. Now you're sitting down at the beginning of every month to break that down into an actionable plan, right? So, okay, I'm selling $1,000 this month. That means I need to sell $250 every week, and I'm trying to get 1 new rep. So this is how many messages I'm trying to send out. Number 5 is scheduling those actionable items each week. So sitting down Monday morning and saying, this is my schedule for the week. These are my goals for the week based on my monthly goals. And okay, I'm spending 2 hours a day on Zyia. And something that can be really helpful is, okay, I'm literally scheduling, writing down from 9 to 10, 9 to 11, or, from 10 to noon, or 8 to 10 when my kids are in bed. This is my Zyia time. It's scheduled. It's in my planner. It's in my calendar. This is the time that I have devoted to achieving these goals. And actually sitting down at the beginning of the week to make sure that the day doesn't just get away from you, that the week doesn't just pass before you've sat down and done these specific items. And making sure that those are on your calendar, because having that accountability is really, really important. So what kinds of things should you have on your calendar as your actionable items? So we talk a lot about the power hour for a rep and the power hour for a leader. Those are both really good breakdowns to.
Power hours are where they get on Zoom calls and they just send messages to people, or they do follow-ups. I'm pretty sure I've done a Beachbody power hour before. If you're curious at what they do in a power hour, even though I just explained it, they just send messages and follow up with people that maybe said maybe or said no. But remember, no means potentially in the future when it comes to an MLMer.
To take a look at. The things that I would say are like top priority are doing reach outs, doing follow-ups, and parties.
So yeah, trying to find recruits, and selling the items, but having your friends bring along other friends and family members who you can potentially, say it with me, recruit.
So parties can kind of fit into those specifically, but doing reach outs are for anything. Sending personal messages, whether that's to your warm market or to your cold market, or, to customers, whatever it is, making sure you're scheduling time every single day, if possible, doing reach outs. It's that consistency, even if it's like 5 messages a day, that consistency, doing those reach outs is huge. If you don't do your reach outs for a while, you'll notice, hey, I have no parties booked this week. I have no prospects for recruiting. I have nothing. And you know why? It's because you haven't been doing your reach outs every day. Like it's such a direct correlation, you guys. It's like, it's mind blowing. When I was getting ready for my wedding a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm not doing anything this month. Holy cow, did I suffer for that? That was a horrible idea, doing like nothing for a month before my wedding and then my honeymoon. And then I got back and I was like, I have nothing. I have no pipeline. And I had to basically start over and do all of my reach outs. So
instead of enjoying your wedding, enjoying your honeymoon, like you should, it's like, well, I had nothing. So during a time when I could be focusing on myself and my future and this exciting moment, it's like, she's like telling you, no, that was a horrible idea. I should have been focused on my wedding, of course, but also messaging people every single day, probably even on her wedding day, probably also while she was on her honeymoon. Instead of enjoying this time with your new husband away from everything, you should have been doing reach outs, which we see. We see people who are in the hospital, you know, trying to still recruit and sell products. They're like, you know, just had a baby and they're still trying to recruit and sell products. And it's like, take these moments for yourself. There's such, you know, there's once in a lifetime moments. Hopefully getting married is one of them. You know, having your baby, that's definitely a once in a lifetime moment. That is that baby at that time is the only time you will have that baby. And enjoy the moments with your child. Enjoy the moments with your husband. Enjoy any moment that you deem significant in your life to yourself. And they're not allowed to do that in MLMs. They have to capitalize on these moments and thank the MLM for being able to enjoy these moments and have them. It's like, are you really enjoying them when you have to be on social media all the time and still reaching out to people and taking pictures and writing these long, you know, essays about why the MLM is the greatest thing and that while you're on your honeymoon, you're so happy you can do this? No. Enjoy that time. They claim time freedom, but there's no such thing as time freedom in an MLM.
You'll notice a huge difference. So if you're sitting back saying, well, I have nothing and I have no one, take a real look. Go back through your messages and count how many messages you've been sending every day for the past couple of weeks. Because I guarantee there's a correlation between the number of messages you've been sending and the activity you have going in your business right now. Personal messages are huge. So important. Cannot tell you guys enough how important personal messages are. Like, I could preach about that all freaking day. It's huge. And then follow-throughs, or follow-ups, I guess. Follow-ups are the next thing that are very important, because if you message someone or someone buys something from you and then they never hear from you again, they're not going to be the ones to reach out again. Very rarely do I get messages from customers saying like, I love this. Like, it's awesome when you do, but it doesn't, like, maybe 1 out of every 25 orders I get, do I have that person message me saying, this is so cute. I love it. Right? You need to be the one following up. So I was listening to a training on another team a couple of weeks ago, and they had a specific day of the week. They said, this day, if all I have is an hour, I'm going to be doing follow-ups. Like, that's all I'm doing today. And I'm making sure that I get all of them done. What do follow-ups look like? It's anyone who's ordered from you and it's been like a week, if it's been delivered, they should be hearing from you. Hey, you should have gotten your leggings and your sports bra this day, says it was delivered. Have you tried them on yet? Are you so loving them? If they say no, take care of them. This is where that customer service aspect comes in. If they say yes, what a great opportunity to say, freaking awesome, so exciting. Will you host a party for me? And then they say yes. And then you ask them to be a rep and they
leave them alone. Someone was being nice, or maybe they genuinely wanted to buy a pair of leggings through your link, to then be bothered and be like, how much you love them? Will you please host a party for me and have like all your friends and family come and like buy these and you'll tell blah, blah, blah. And I'll give you these hostess rewards and it'll be so much fun. It's like, I couldn't imagine buying something from somebody and then like a week later, they're like asking me to buy more or do something for them. And it's like, didn't I just do something for you buying your product. I mean, you know, if I like the product, I'll come back, I'll buy more. But that's a lot. I just feel like that's excessive. Like to just right away be like, host a party for me. It's like, you're asking a lot, man.
So yes, like that's all awesome, right? And that's never going to happen if you don't follow up with the people that order from you. So follow up with those, follow up with anyone that's talked to you or that you've talked to about becoming a rep. Because I have very, very few reps on my team that reached out to me saying, hey, I want to rep. And even then, like at some point, we've had a conversation in the past about repping. They never just say like, I want to rep. That doesn't happen to me.
No, you have to sell them on the opportunity. You have to, you know, create this fantasy of what the MLM can do for you. People usually don't just like message people and say, I want to become a rep. That's almost probably never happened.
And the people that I have talked to about repping, I followed up with a lot, you guys, sometimes with messages in between that they never responded to because people are busy, right? How many messages have you had in your inbox that you haven't responded to? We're all guilty of that. It happens sometimes where you get flooded with messages and you just don't respond to one. And that's our business. These people are just on Facebook for fun often. So
yeah, so don't bother them. Leave them alone.
Give them the benefit of the doubt, saying that they were busy with their family or with work or something else, and message them again.
So why are those people allowed to have the excuse of family, but people in Zyia are not allowed to have that excuse?
I've had people say, thank you so much for being persistent, like, and for being patient with me and for reaching back out and not forgetting me. Like, thank you so much, because I'm interested. Just, you know, this, and this got in the way. So follow up with any potential reps, and then follow up with people that have talked about hosting a party, or, you know, someone that has expressed interest in discounted clothes, or maybe there's someone that says like, I love the look of these clothes, but I can't afford it. You're going to let them walk away without following up with them and saying, hey, you know, you can host a party, right? And get that discount that you're looking for. That's leaving money on the table, you guys. You gotta send personal messages and follow up with people. So,
but what if someone, you say, oh, you could just host a party, and then they say, well, I don't really have anyone that would want to come. Maybe you made them feel worse. Just if someone, or more than likely, they're saying that they can't afford it as a way to let you off easy because they're saying no. More than likely, that could be what it is, or they just genuinely don't want to spend $75 on a pair of leggings, or what was it, $50 on a pair of shorts. That's pricey.
Total tangent, but that's what I would focus your actionable items on every week. As you're looking at scheduling, set a specific day for follow-ups, and then every single day that you're planning time to do your Zyia business, schedule reach outs. You can even put like what type of reach outs you want to do that day if you don't have time to do them all. Like, hey, maybe Monday is recruiting. Maybe Wednesday is looking for hostesses. Maybe or new releases, new customers, you know? So kind of schedule out your week and see what that looks like, and give yourself just those little breakdowns of time according to the goals that you've set. So the next step, number 6, is to follow through, which is exactly what it sounds like, right? So you've created your goals, you've made an action plan, you've scheduled your weeks, follow through. Now that you've scheduled your week, do it. Hold yourself accountable. And if you can't, reach out to someone else who will give you a little bit of tough love and hold you accountable. Don't do someone that's going to be like, oh, it's fine, you'll get to it next week. No, message someone that's going to say, you could do better. And that's going to hold you to it, and is going to, like,
that person will probably be your upline. Your upline will definitely hold you accountable because they financially benefit from you doing what they need you to do.
Give you a little bit of that push that you need to make sure that you do it better next week, right? So follow through. Make sure that you are doing those action items that you've scheduled. And then number 7 is reflect, revise, restart. So at the end of the month, look back at the month. How did it go? Did you meet your goals? Did you put in the time that you said you were going to? Or did you maybe at the beginning of the month set a really lofty goal for like putting in 35 hours a week and you only did 20, which is still great, right? 20 hours a week on your.
At least she like still said that like 20 is good. If you are putting 35 out, you're doing full-time work for this potentially like part-time side hustle, whatever. I mean, I guess if you're not working, that's okay, but like 35 hours on the MLM when all you're really doing is talking about how amazing it is on Instagram and Facebook and messaging people and following up with people. That's all you're doing. And to do that 35 hours in a week, you know, maybe it's like 5 hours a day, you never get a day off, you're just talking to people, hoping somebody joins. That's just always when I say that, I'm like, God, that's so mentally exhausting.
Business is huge. So never tell yourself you only did 20. That's really awesome. But maybe revise that going into the next month. And what I want to make sure that you remember is that if you didn't reach your goals, you don't want to revise your goal. You want to revise your action plan. So maybe 35 hours a week every week wasn't realistic, but you have like specific things that you're able to get done every day that you did really well. So just look at your plan and make it more realistic for your goals and for your life. And then once you've revised it, restart it the next month and see how that goes. And see if that is going to get you any closer to your long-term goals, or if maybe you need to tweak it a little bit for the next month. And the problem, or not, sorry, not the problem. The reality is that we probably all need to be revising our action plans to some degree every month because we're not where we want to be yet, right? Is anyone where they want to be in their Zyia business right now, today?
All the people on this call are shaking their head no.
My guess would be no, or you wouldn't be on this call. You'd be like on a beach in Maui sipping mocktails. I don't know. I would be. That'd be great. But so if you're not where you want to be, there's always something that you can do differently. There's always something that you can do better to get to where you want to be in your Zyia business. So that's why at the end of every month, you're going to do that last step of reflect, revise, and then restart to make sure that you're constantly moving forward and progressing with that plan. And I think that's all I have for you guys today. So does anyone have any questions? Okay, looks like no. So
that was very awkward. Like that went on for far too long. It's like, does anyone have any questions? After like 5 seconds, be like, if you do, message, you know, your upline or put it in the chat. And as I finish out this video, instead of just like sitting there hoping somebody like, that's just such a awkward silence. I hate it.
But just to reiterate, this all comes from a place of love. So please don't feel like you can't come to me with like something hard in your life. I do care. I promise I care. But
when you have to say that you do care about what people have going on in their life, like, and you're like reassuring them, kind of don't believe you.
As the tough love goes too, like we all have heard things, and the way you're going to find success is to keep pushing through and remembering your why and your goals, even when life totally sucks, because we all know it does sometimes.
Okay, thanks everybody for jumping on. This was so good. I took notes because I'm like, I need to do some of this again. So, okay, thanks so much. Everybody have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, Zyia lady. You know what I'm surprised she didn't say when she's like saying you need to like revise your goals? Like if you had, you know, a goal of working 20 hours a week, we'll just say 20 hours a week, but you didn't hit that. I'm so surprised that she didn't say, were you watching Netflix? Were you drinking Starbucks? Were you scrolling Instagram? You should, you know, screw off those things that bring a little bit of joy and happiness into your life, and instead work, 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 so that your upline makes more money. I'm really surprised she didn't say that. I feel like this is the first video in a while that Netflix wasn't, you know, tossed away like some garbage, something like that. And honestly, like, there was a point while watching this that I forgot what the company was. Like, I forgot that it was Zyia, because I understand that they're already in a team call, and she did mention Leggings, so I went in the team call, like, probably already owns a pair of leggings, and they know that they're talking about Zyia, but I, like, forgot, because that could have been any MLM. It honestly could have been. It could have been any MLM talking about recruiting for anything. The product is always secondary, and the fact that until they bring up the product and remind me what the MLM is, it doesn't matter. The product is just there to look good, when we all know the main thing of every MLM, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how new they are, doesn't matter what they sell, it's all about recruitment. Alright, you guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really, really liked it, please subscribe. Let's talk all things Zyia in the comments below, and until my next video, I will see you guys then. Bye!